everyone. Well, we made it through our first week. I am hoping at this point you've become a little bit more familiar with our course and how it's laid out, and you were able to go through the Module 1 Getting Started. Also, I hope you were able to purchase your Exceptional Learners textbook that you will need for this course. The other thing I wanted you to do was to download the Teacher's Guide to Special Education. So I made a separate video for you regarding service learning and how all that works, and actually put it under Module 1 Getting Started. So I kind of wanted to show you where to go to get that in case you have any questions. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on Course Information and click Content, and then on the left-hand side, you are going to see the table of contents, and you're going to select Service Learning. Okay, so I told you it's important for you to read through all this. The video I'm referring to is if you were to scroll down a little bit, you're going to see a link that says Service Learning Overview Video. Please make sure you watch that as well as reading all of the service learning sections. So you have your service learning, the pre-service learning application, background check, referral form, and closing documents section, as well as the service learning written assignments. So you have your rubric for the project in there, as well as all the documents that you need. So one thing I want to draw your attention to is if you scroll down underneath pre-service learning application, so these are the documents that you'll have to turn in. You will see the service learning timeline and checklist. Like I mentioned in the video, please make sure you download this and save it, because these are action items that you have to take. Another thing I wanted to remind you of is to make sure you join the Teams code. So we have a special channel for service learning where you're going to submit these pre-service learning documents. So you can join the Teams by clicking on the code, or by joining with this code. Now once you get in, I did want to show you, because I did have some questions. So once you get in to the home page, what you're going to do, and it takes a minute to load, is you will see a welcome message. Please make sure you read that. And then you're going to see assignments here. So these are things that you're going to actually submit. So one of the questions I had is, well, how do you upload documents, or what am I supposed to do? How do I get to my name? So what you're going to do is once you join the code, you're going to click on Class Notebook. And it is a little slow, so please be patient. Now once it loads, you're going to see a bookshelf. I'd like you to click on the bookshelf, and then mine's going to look a little different than yours. But when you see this section here, it'll have a welcome and then content library. You are only going to see your name. So once you click on your name, so let's just pick a random person. Let's see, teacher only. Okay, you will see your name, and you will see 5 things that you have to turn in. What I did want to advise you to pay attention to is when you're trying to submit something, you're going to actually, so say you want to submit your proof of liability insurance, you're going to click in the blank space. You have to click in the blank space in order for you to insert your document from your device. If you don't click on the blank space, you're not going to be able to see this menu bar that comes up, or this toolbar, where you will be able to insert, and then you will click on File, and then Insert File Attachment. Now once you do that, you will choose the file from your device, you will hit Open, and then Submit. So it's as easy as doing that. So remember, the things that you have to submit are going to be under your name, under Class Notebook. So you always click on Class Notebook once you get into the Service Learning Teams, and it'll be called Service Learning Fall 2023. And once you're in that team, it will load after you click Class Notebook. It's going to load, and then you will see a bookshelf on the top left corner, which is where you will click. Then you will find your name, And then you will click on what you're trying to submit. And always remember to click inside of the document, the blank white part, in order to bring up the toolbar menu, which is how you will submit your documents. Now, just keep in mind that I have everything linked here for you. If you're still having trouble and don't know how to join a Teams with the code, there's a video to help show you how to do that. I also went ahead and put the checklist here for you once again, so you can save that, print it out, and make sure you are following those action items so you'll know what is required of you and when. So one thing I wanted to draw your attention to is you will see some due dates. You have some paperwork to turn into your Teams folder. So you'll see you have the VECHS waiver, that's due August 31st. The Service Learning application is due 31st of August, as well as the Service Learning Release Hold Harmless. And then we have to have our proof, our TBI background check, and our proof of liability insurance. So these are things that we went over in the video. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through that, but please make sure that you notice the dates here. So the things that I need uploaded into the Teams under your notebook is going to be your VECHS waiver, your Service Learning application, your Service Learning Release Hold Harmless. So those will be uploaded and submitted into the Teams folder under your notebook. One thing I do want to advise you is you should have already made an appointment through Identigo to get your TBI fingerprint and background check completed. So that's something that will be due September 7th, as well as showing your proof of insurance. So I wanted to talk a little bit about fingerprinting and background check because I had a couple of questions about that through email. So on the fingerprint and background check, this, when you click in it, it's going to bring you up to that link to Identigo, okay? Now please keep in mind, I would go ahead and keep this page open and then open this with a new tab or open link in a new tab. That way you can always refer back to this because there are steps you have to take and you need to make sure that you choose the correct thing when you are making your appointment. So when you go to Identigo, you're going to see down here it'll say digital fingerprint. So fingerprinting, you're going to select it. Okay, and then you're going to schedule a new appointment. Now here's where I told you may have to refer back to this directions sheet. So what you're going to do is you're going to click don't know your service code. Okay, so you're going to click that. It's going to ask you for your agency's name. Okay, so you will choose non-DCS child care adoption providers for the agency's name. And then you're going to hit go. Next, it's going to ask you for applicant type. You're going to choose child-related worker, volunteer, private. And hit go. Then you're going to hit the ORI number. Make sure you do this and copy and paste because this is a good number you have to have. And that's Walter State's ORI number, which will let us know that this information needs to go to Water State. Okay, so you will paste that number there and hit go. So just copy it. And then you're going to paste it in the box and hit go. Now Water State will come up. You will put yes or click yes. And then you have to agree here to continue. That just means that you will consent to doing a criminal history background check. And you'll hit go. Okay. You're going to enter the zip code that's closest to your home. So whatever your home address is, you will click. So I will go ahead and put my zip in there where I live. And what it's going to do is bring up the Identigo locations closest to where you live. So say I want to do this one on Industrial Avenue. You can see here the dates that they have open. So if it says schedule, that means that you should be able to click on and they may have an opening for you. So say I can only do it on Thursday. So I'm going to hit schedule, and then I'm going to pick a time. Whatever times they have available, you will pick it. Say I can't do it till 4:30. Hit continue. It may take a minute. Okay, let's try that again. So let's pick a different date. Let's go Wednesday. Let's do 10:30. And they could be bogged down right now, which is what may be happening. So we're going to give it a minute and see what happens. That may be what's going on. So once it pulls up, what you're going to do is you're going to enter your information and make sure you fill everything out, and then you will be able to submit it, which will put you in line and make an appointment for you. So what you'll have to do is once you fill all the information out and you submit it and you made your appointment, when you actually go to your appointment, and again, whenever you're making it, make sure you write down the address or know where it's at. When you go to that location and you are there to do your background check, make sure you have your driver's license because they will ask that, and you will have to include that information. Okay, so it came up, so that's good, so you get an idea of what it looks like. So just hit continue on here, and as you see, it's going to have you fill out your information. And I had someone ask me about they were getting married and changing their name. Just use the name that you have that's associated with your driver's license and all of that information right now. If you have any questions about that and you recently changed your name, just email me and we'll have a time to talk and figure out what we need to do. You will do your home address where you are living, then you will put your method of contact, and then the bottom section is really going to be your demographic data, so your date of birth, your gender, your height, your weight, your race, hair color, eye color, place of birth, so this is the state you were born in, your social, your driver's license number, and the driver's license state. And then you will put your occupation. So if you don't work, you would just put student, okay? And then just keep that no, because there's no need for you to do that because you're doing it for a service learning class, not really an employer, and then you will hit submit. And that will book your appointment. Okay, so that you will get done. The next thing you're going to have to do, as I said, is going to be your proof of liability insurance. So we said you had two options in the video. You have Aon, which you can purchase through the Water State Cashier's office for $13, or you can join STEA. Obviously, the Aon is a little cheaper option, so it's really up to you what you prefer. Here's the thing I've noticed. I've had a couple people already email me the proof of liability insurance. You do not email me your proof. So what will happen is you will either go down to the Water State Cashier's office here on the Morristown campus, or you will give them a call. You can do it over the phone. Once you purchase the liability insurance, you should receive a receipt. So if you go in person, they'll physically hand you a receipt. If not, they may email it to you if you purchase it over the phone. So what you're going to do is, once you get your receipt, you're going to either save it on your document if you did it over the phone, or you're going to take a picture of it on your phone and you're going to email it to this email address, teacheredbackground@ws.edu. Do not email it to me. Another thing I wanted to show you is that there is another place in here for you in Teams to also upload that picture of your proof of liability insurance, and you'll notice the due date is there. So please make sure that you do those two things. You email it, and then you also put your copy of it right here under Teams in your notebook. Okay, so that's pretty much what I wanted to address as far as service learning. Go ahead and complete your application, your VECHS waiver form, all the documents under Teams. Make sure you submit them by the date. I do want to note that we are starting our Module 2, so we're starting content this week. And as I mentioned in last week's video, we are going to be starting content and opening it on Monday of every week, and it will close on Sunday unless stated otherwise. So some things will have different dates, but most content will be due on Sunday evening. So I want to show you kind of the layout of how everything is laid out when we are doing each module and each week. They're laid out very similar. So you'll see from Module 2, so Module 1 was all getting started. Module 2 is where our content is. So you'll see when you click on Module 2, the first thing you'll notice is an overview of Module 1. So what we're going to learn within the weeks. And you'll notice in each module, we have 5 weeks of content, and then we'll have our exam, okay? So we're starting in week 1. I provide you with an overview of what we're going to be learning this week. A lot of times will put a weekly update video. Those will be each week for you, so you'll know exactly what I expect you to do. So that one is in there for you to follow. We also have our overview, outcomes, and keywords. So, and this is just to walk you through. I'll do one each week so you can kind of know what we're doing. So every one of the overview, outcomes, and keywords is set up in the same format. You'll have your course outcomes. Then we have the overview of what we're going to be learning about that week. What objective do I want you to learn this week? Then we're going to have any learning or reading tasks that you need to complete. Like this week, you're going to be reading an article. You're going to be completing a self-assessment using the Persons First. You will watch a Person First video, and then you will be completing an IRIS module. One thing neat I want to note is that if you see this, there's a section under discussions for questions about the course. So where you can get to it is you can follow the link. It'll always be under overview, outcomes, and keywords, or you can go directly to communications and select discussions. Okay, so you'll see questions about the course. This will stay open the entire semester. Anytime you have a question about something, you can either email me through eLearn, or you can put your question here if you don't care for everyone else to see it. So that's just a way for you to communicate if you have questions about the course or about the module or the content that we're working in for that week. Okay, then you will see assignments. These are things you have to physically do. So remember, due dates are on the course homepage, but what I suggest students doing is I actually have here in my hand, and it's also in the course under Module 1, is our curriculum timeline. So this is our class schedule. Go back to Module 1 and click on that, save it, so you'll know when all the due dates are and make sure that you are adhering to those due dates. Also, you're going to have the keywords and concepts about what keywords or definitions you need to know, being able to connect to the content and understand it deeper. There's also a video there about people first, so make sure you look at that. So let me go back real quick. Or person first, excuse me. So that video is just an introductory to tell you what person's first language means, so make sure you watch that. Another thing you'll notice is I always give you presentations, so sometimes it may be a PowerPoint and sometimes it may be an actual Nearpod presentation. So you will watch the Nearpod presentation lesson. So how you navigate is you will just click the arrow and it'll take you through. So it's very interactive. It will have like questions, discussion boards, thoughts, quizzes. There's lots of things that's more of an interactive PowerPoint. So make sure you go through that. And if you'll notice, I'm clicking the arrows at the top. This is just navigating you through the content for this week. The homework assignment I told you you're going to have to do is going to be reading this article by Carol Russell called How Are Your People First Skills? So what I want you to do is you're going to read this article. And within this article, you're going to see there's actually a self-assessment you're going to take. And you're going to take your results from the self-assessment and you're going to use it in your discussion board. So you'll see on page 41 in this article, you will have some terminology that's going to help you complete this self-assessment. So on the third page, or the page 42, is where you actually will complete this. So how you're going to do this is you're going to rate yourself on a scale. So you'll see the scale is here. 1 is always, 2 is often, 3 is sometimes, 4 is almost never, and 5 is never. So you're going to read these statements and you're going to rate yourself accordingly. When you're done, I want you to total up your number, your score, and then you're going to come down here to the key and you're going to see how you are in terms of your expertise on using person first. So what you'll do is once you're done doing the article and reading it and completing the self-assessment, you will use it to complete your discussion board. Okay, and it again tell you what I want you to do. And these are the 2 questions you're going to answer on the discussion board. Now remember, you need to respond to at least one person's discussion post. I will give you extra points if you want to do 2, but you are required to do at least 1. And then of course, I have the rubric for you to use to show you how I'm going to grade you on this assignment. Okay, then I want you to watch this video speaking about people first or person first language. And if you are more of a read and write and not really visual, you can just read the transcript below. And then I want you to complete what we call an IRIS module. Now, module 1, there was a section called IRIS module under resources. And what that was telling you what IRIS modules were and how we were going to use them in this course. So make sure to go back and look at that before you get into this week's IRIS module. So you're going to basically navigate and walk through, or read and listen through, the IRIS module. The IRIS module is much like the Nearpod. It's very interactive. So what you're going to do is you're going to watch the video of introduction. It will have you some thoughts and questions to think about. It may ask you questions. And then it'll show you objectives of what you hope to accomplish with this IRIS module. And then you're going to go through the contents, okay? And there will be things for you to read, like links to click on. There will be videos for you to watch, some outside links that we're going with. And then there's also some audio clips as well. And then if, like I said, if you're not an oral person, like listening, and you're a read-write, then you can just read the transcripts on that. And you're going to walk through each section, each page. Okay, and there will be questions and videos, very interactive. And as you go through all the pages, okay, you will get to the end. Okay, so you go through, and then once you get to the end, you hit next. You're going to have a wrap-up video, which is always good because it goes back to those initial thoughts that it started with. And sometimes it even gives you a video. And then you will have something called an assessment. So you will need to complete this assessment. So you'll watch this video, and then you're going to answer some of these questions. I do not want you to turn these in. There will be times I ask you to submit the assessment from the IRIS module. Week 1 is not that. Week 1 is just an opportunity for you to learn how to use IRIS modules, to go through one, and then get your feet wet in terms of what kind of content is coming at you, your thoughts, and then doing the assessment to give you feedback of how well you did on the IRIS module. And then when you're done, you will hit next. And that's pretty much what you will do for this week's lesson. So at the end of each section, you will see I have references, citations, citing my sources. And then there's that questions about the course if you have questions about week 1 content. Or you can even email me, it's up to you. Okay, so under assignment, under each week you will have assignments. These are things that you have to have completed, and there's the due dates into which they need to be completed. Okay. So as I wanted to tell you, this week you also have an opportunity for a practice RAD. I told you that you will be completing 4 reading assignment discussions. There is a chance for you to get feedback. It is practice. There's no grade. It will allow you to read the article, those discussion articles, and then I will give you feedback of how you did. And this will just help you moving forward with the reading assignment discussions. So you would just click on it, and the article will be there, as well as the rubric of how I'm going to be grading you. So you'll see. What you'll notice, even in the practice and all the RADs I give you, I will ask you the same 3 questions after you read each article. And just like any discussion, you have to respond to or reply to at least one other classmate's discussion post. I put 2 there because that gives you full credit, but required is at least one other classmate's discussion you're going to reply to. Since we're not in person, this just gives us that interaction with each other. Well, that pretty much covers all of week 1. Please make sure to look at your due dates. Please make sure that you are looking in Teams and submitting your service learning paperwork. Go ahead and do your Identigo, and also make sure you join the team so you're able to submit the correct documents and purchase your liability insurance. Please email me if you are a substitute or teacher aide and you are working in a school system and you've had a background check, a TBI background check within the last 2 years, because we need to have a talk about what I need you to do so we can make sure to show you've had a background check. All right, that covers pretty much all of week 1 in Module 2. I will do these, like I said, every week. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And if you want to email me, that's fine, or you can do in discussions under question about the course. All right, guys, I hope you have a fantastic week. Remember that next Monday is Labor Day, so we won't be having classes that day, but you still are responsible that week for the work. It will still open on Monday regardless, even if we don't have class. So if you want to work, you can. All right, guys, I hope you have a fabulous week, and until next time, take care.